The Liberal government promised every single Australian home would be connected to the NBN by the end of last year. But here we are, 2017, 7 million homes, still waiting. And this sits firmly at the Prime Minister's feet. The MTM, as it is now called, is the Malcolm Turnbull mess. So what are they going to say to the elderly in my community who were left without phones because of the dodgy NBN deals? What are they saying about the countless mobile phone black spots in McEwen that mean we don't have access to the most basic needs such as emergency services? I'm sick of the promises that have time and time again been delayed, been changed, jeopardising small businesses and impacting the daily life on our towns in our communities because of this government's failure. Under our plan, the NBN would have delivered world-class fibre optic network to more than 90% of homes and businesses. But under the misguided leadership of the then Communication Minister Turnbull, the Liberal government decided to put in a second-class copper NBN, and Australia's internet speeds dropped from 30th to 60th in the world. Since moving back to Whittlesea from Broadford, I've experienced firsthand the failure of the government's disastrous NBN rollout. With no internet connection at home, I was forced to pay on an expensive wireless internet dongle. Parts of my town are only just being connected to the NBN late last year. It means we're playing catch-up with global internet standards. Now, it doesn't matter if you live close to the city or in one of our many towns across our region, you have been impacted by this rollout. South Morang was supposed to be one of the first places to have NBN installed. Communities such as Sunbury and Doreen and Mernda were promised NBN connection by 2015. It's now 2017 and guess what? They are still waiting because of this government's failure. I have constituents contacting me to tell me they have to drive to their offices in the CBD of Melbourne at all hours for conference meetings with European and American stakeholders and business partners. The internet in their homes is so unreliable due to the dodgy NBN, they can't even be sure if it's going to work. We have whole communities unable to access existing internet service because of an NBN they haven't seen and certainly can't use. What kind of innovative and agile plan is that for a quality, reliable internet in a modern country? It is absolutely unacceptable that less than 30 kilometres from the centre of Melbourne, there are families and businesses who cannot get access to broadband. I've lost count of the frustrated parents throughout our communities who have spoken to me about having to bunk down at McDonald's as that's the only reliable source of internet for their children to do their homework. It's disappointing because this government's delays, many of our small businesses have had no choice but to move. That's jobs lost in regional communities because of this government's failure. The severely limited wireless towers in my community just don't cut it. We need results and we need leadership, but it's certainly not going to come from this government. As the fastest growing region in Australia, Victoria makes up 27% of our nation's population. With more than 1,000 people moving to our towns in our community each month. And in spite of this, the government is only investing a minuscule 77 cents for every $10 of investment into infrastructure. This government is starving our growing north of critical infrastructure. We need investment, and yet during the last election campaign, the Liberal Party and the National Party, because they both decided to run candidates this time, did not give McEwen 1 cent of infrastructure promises. Not one. The countless roads, and the member for Corangamite can snigger all she wants. These are people that are suffering. Sit down, you can't get a point of order on that because you were sniggering.
Order.
Don't waste my time,
Is the honourable member seeking to ask a question?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr Deputy Speaker. Look, I'm just...
And does the member accept the intervention?
I'm wanting to make it clear that I was not...
Order.
There are countless roads.
Order. You can raise a point of order.
Mr Deputy Speaker, as we know in this chamber, it's inappropriate to reflect on a member. I would ask that the member opposite not reflect on me. That is an inappropriate representation. I was not sniggering in relation to anything that you said. No, you made a false allegation.
Order.
The point of order is that you reflected on me, and I wasn't
member for
sniggering
Corangamite.
in
Thank
relation
you.
to anything that you said. So that's just what I want that to be very clear.
Order. Excuse me, please, everyone, resume your seats. Resume your seats. I've heard the point of order. I note it, but I don't think he impugned your character, which is what you're suggesting. I'll let you continue. The member.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. As I said, not 1 cent of infrastructure. And that's after 4 years. We've not seen any infrastructure by this government in the seat of McEwen. And at the same time, we had a Liberal National Government which again did not spend 1 cent of infrastructure in this electorate. It is a failure by those opposite, an absolute failure the way they treat people in the outer suburbs. And there's no denying that. That's a fact. Well, you can reject it, but please.
Order.
You've done nothing.
Order.
You've done nothing.
Order.
Just as Labor
member
announced
for
during the election,
The order for Corangamite.
McEwen residents.
Order. Everyone cease. I appreciate you're feisty on this issue, but the member for McEwen has the call. Passionate, I should say.
The story that often gets put out is that Labor never invested in mobile phone towers. Well, let's clear the lie. Every single one of the wireless internet NBN towers that we put in place were built for infrastructure for telephone towers. What this lot have done, have stopped building that, and we still haven't got the towers that were promised in 2014. So we've got every right to ask why. Why has the government not told the truth? Why are bushfire-affected communities still waiting for the towers that were promised in 2014? Because this government doesn't care.